Hello, I'm Andy, and I'm going to read to you a program called Jupiter Retrograde Effect till November the 7th of 2021. And this is especially you coming from Sagittarius. Before I begin, here's my email. If you wish to have a 90-minute session with me to know your next 9 years based on your date of birth, your time of birth, and looking at your palms, then send me this email and yes, it will cost you USD $50. I'll show you how to formulate your own personal lucky lottery numbers. I'll show you how to get into that energized level on the same wavelength as your soul so that you can become somebody very special. And a lot more, we'll talk about that later. So, the Jupiter retrograde, according to astronomy, it started in June the 22nd and will end October 23rd. But the effect of this, for me, only really starts from today. Today, the 19th of August, and it will end November the 7th, 2021, because it always leaks energy even after it's finished. So the periods involved during this retrograde are Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and Libra from June 22nd to October 23rd. Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and Libra, these periods are involved. So people born in these periods are going to have the effect more, sometimes for good and sometimes for bad. And also, the sun signs that are affected are going to be, if you happen to be born in the period of Cancer, the sun sign Cancer, or Leo, or Sagittarius, or Scorpio, or Aries, then you may have even better luck during the Jupiter retrograde. More opportunities with your superiors, more opportunities of expansion as well. But a retrograde is still a retrograde. It means the planets have diverted the normal length or the normal speed or the normal way that they go. So you'll be have to be careful that things can change, whether for job, business, or personal areas. That things can change, and you have to be very clever about it. But you, from these signs which I've just mentioned, Cancer, Leo, Sagittarius, Scorpio, and Aries, can benefit actually from Jupiter retrograde. But if you're hasty, if you're impatient, then you'll have to be careful. But if you're born in the sun signs of Gemini or Virgo or Capricorn or Taurus or Libra or Aquarius or Pisces, you have to be extra careful because for you, the negativities are quite a lot. Why? Because the calendar year 2021 offers you many opportunities. But during this retrograde, to make up your mind, you have to be very, very careful. So you are born in this sun signs which I've just mentioned: Gemini, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, Libra, Aquarius, and Pisces. Just slow down your activity and try to use more rather than be hasty or impatient. Go slow would be better for you. The planets, the planet Jupiter, Mars, Sun, and Moon, and Neptune are traveling together in the sense that they are not moving together, but they are sending out waves of energies which are quite harmonious to each other. And the planets Mercury, Saturn, Venus, and Uranus are moving away from such energies. So if you're born with a Mercury, Saturn, or Venus, Uranus exalted somewhere, you'll have more difficulties during this Jupiter retrograde. But if you're born with exalted Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Moon, or Neptune, then you'll have a better opportunity coming your way as well. So it all depends on the astrology chart that you make for yourself. And I do this for you. And I'll show you when I meet you one day how it can be done. The calendar year Mercury is the main culprit and makes the calendar year very slippery and very fast. So if you happen to be born with too much Mercury, Saturn, Venus, and Uranus planets with their energies, then you have to be cautious that the 2021 may be even more dangerous for you. Okay, now we are going to go to how to manage your ages there will be certain ages which are going to be lucky. And we're talking about you coming from Sagittarius. So if you happen to be the ages of 12 or 21 or 30 or 39 or 48 or 57 or 66 or 75 or even 84, if you happen to be these ages, you can make a lot of capital, a lot of good opportunities during the Jupiter retrograde, because it allows you in an abnormal way to get abnormal good opportunities which don't come very often. But still, because you are in the calendar year 2021 and these planets are moving too fast, you cannot afford to be hasty and impatient. So the word research is very important for you coming from Sagittarius. Very important for you during this period of Jupiter retrograde. I want to talk to you about ages. So these ages which I've just mentioned to you just now are positive ages. Look forward to even get opportunities during a Jupiter retrograde. But I also want to give you ages where you have to be very careful. And if you happen to be the ages of 14 or 23 or 32 or 41 or 50 or 59 or 68 or 77 or even 86, you have to be very, very careful in this Jupiter retrograde. Things can turn against you terribly badly, and you'll find that everything you try to do is going to just go too quickly out of control. So slow down. And even if you have these negative ages which I've mentioned, you will still be able to do well enough if you slow down, not be hasty or impatient in what you do. Okay, palms are very important. And this index finger is called the Jupiter finger. It's a very powerful finger for people in Sagittarius and, of course, in other sun signs as well. So if you have an abnormally long Jupiter finger, which even is longer than your third finger, then you must tell yourself to go slow and minimize risks during this Jupiter period, because Jupiter can easily go out of control with the plans it makes for you bigger than you can handle. So just slow down a bit. If your Jupiter finger is a little bit too long, it means you're overly energized by Jupiter. And when Jupiter retrogrades, these energies won't be very stable. So you'll be caught hands down, having taken on too much. I want to speak to you now about colors. So, colors play a big part in our life. In fact, the gift of seeing colors is a very special gift given to us so that we can see colors and be able to choose colors. So, I want you during this Jupiter retrograde, for you coming from Sagittarius, to wear as much purple as you can so that you'll be protected from these powers of the color purple, which link you to a very powerful Jupiter position. And you may be even to even expand and do things extremely well. Even though it's a 2021 age or the calendar year, which are controlled by four planets, Mercury, Saturn, Venus, and Uranus. All four are not going towards helping you. Yet, if you have these ages which I've just mentioned, you can still do very, very well. So you got your good ages and you got your bad ages. So if you are the bad ages, just go slow and try to hold on to that. Regarding your health during Jupiter retrograde, I worry the most for you about your spine. The lower spine area and the neck area as well will trouble you more and more. And you may newly find these areas having starting to have problems as well. And if you have these problems already, they'll get worse during the Jupiter retrograde. And you have to be careful about your cholesterol levels, which are going to climb during this period for some reason or another, just because the excessive move of Jupiter will do that. Now, about accidents. Accidents are not only physical accidents, they can be verbal accidents, and they can be also emotional accidents can be found. So, this abnormal move by Jupiter, called the Jupiter retrograde, can make you unnecessarily pushy and bossy and want to dominate firstly. And you may, while doing that, miscalculate your timings because everything goes too fast for you. And so the miscalculations, the hastiness, the impatience must be brought down during this Jupiter retrograde period for you. Well, these are the things which I can tell you. Now, the aftermath of Jupiter retrograde, the retrograde doesn't just disappear. The aftermath seems to move on to 2022. So there's going to be further effect for you coming from Sagittarius about 2022. And I am worried that it may not be the most positive at all. But we'll talk about that another time. This program is only about the retrograde of Jupiter. So these are the things which I can tell you. And let me see. About the health areas I've mentioned and accidents. So I've told you just about everything you need to know for the remainder of the Jupiter retrograde. Well, there's a 90-minute session that I have for my listeners. And this 90-minute session is based on your date of birth, your time of birth, looking at your palms. And I can do a 90-minute session based on that and let you know your next 9 years, how they're going to perform for you and how you can make them perform for yourself. And I will show you many things during that. How to formulate your own personal lucky lottery numbers if you like to play lotteries. It's a system I will teach you once and for all. And I will show you as well how to reach the soul within you so that you can become very different and abnormally lucky. Not just normally lucky, but abnormally lucky. Being something very special. When you connect with your soul, the energies come, make you very different. And I'll show you many things about your colors and lucky gemstones and lucky days and lucky directions. I'll go in depth about your health as well, telling you what's waiting to happen, what's already happening, or what has happened. And I'll tell you all that for just USD $50. So here's my email. Send me this email. Let's have a 90-minute session and get ready then for your next 9 years. You can be on top of it. And you can have all that advice from me, which I'll give you, whether to be up or to be down, whether to be careful or to move ahead. All that will be taught to you. Well, until we meet one day, I wish you a good life. Thank you. Goodbye.